going on, boys and girls? I had someone leave a comment saying it was pretty sexist that I only addressed the men, even though 99.4% of my demographic is males, 18 to 24. So, what is good, struggling millennial men? Welcome to the club. I just have a camera and beer. So, I'm really no different than you. I am very not content with some of my life choices. Anyway, welcome back. I know it's been a little bit. Also, like, comment, subscribe. Like, comment, subscribe. Like, comment, subscribe. It's been a little bit, mainly because I've been hard at work on this part of the park. This big Midway and this big Strata coaster. So, yes, let's just get right into this. I'm going to try and make this video a little bit quicker. I already ran through it once, and it took me about 20 minutes. And I hate myself for it. I'm not trying to waste my time or your time. It is 11:45 at night. I'm very tired. So let's just get this underway. I didn't get any work really done in the Outer Banks section of the park. So that is that. We'll leave that there. But this Midway was not here, and now it's here. This is what I've been up to the past couple days. So I wanted to build a very Cedar Point, Gemini Midway inspired kind of part of the park. And this is the main back Midway. So basically take Candy Apple Grove at King's Dominion, Coney Mall at Kings Island, and the Gemini Midway. I think it's the Gemini Midway. I'm looking at my little map up there. Oh yeah, by the way, tonight's beer choice, Yingling, again. It's really all I got left over, and I don't have it in my budget right now to just be buying beer for the shit of it so I can have a different beer every time I do this thing. My posture is atrocious. All right, let's fix that. Here we go. So, we are back in Valley America, and again, this is Candy Apple Grove meets the Gemini Midway, and I really wanted a dragster-esque kind of vibe with the whole big Strata coaster launching pretty much the length of the Midway. And there are a few differences to this Strata coaster than the two Strata coasters in existence right now. It's basically Red Force meets Top Thrill Dragster, and I mean that in the sense of, let's pause it real quick so we can take a look. I switched out the Zenith trains, I think they're called, the traditional Strata coaster trains in-game that come with this ride, with the Invincible trains, which are the Millennium Force trains. I know it's not uber realistic, but I believe all Strata coasters should only have lap bars. Six Flags Great Adventure, get your shit together. No one enjoys King Ka as it is, and no one enjoys the over-the-shoulder restraints. In my perfect world, Intimidator 305 wouldn't have over-the-shoulder restraints either. So Intamin, well, it's more of the park's call, I guess, and there'd be a lot of headbanging on it in I-305 probably because those transitions. Anyway, getting off topic. So yes, all Strata coasters need lap bars 2019. That is the movement. It is going to be a big, beautiful movement, and Mexico's going to fucking pay for it. All right, boys? Strata coasters only with lap bars. We will accept nothing less going into these upcoming coaster seasons, and I don't think we'll see a lot of Strata coasters anyway, so this is a moot point. But yeah, so I wanted the launch to run across the length of the Midway here, and I knew I wanted to fill in some shops and some games. I'll get to those in a second. But yeah, so I wanted it to be very interactive. This is called Manifest Destiny. And the reason I'm geeking at that is because if you're a history buff like me, or you're just in a history class right now, 18 to 24, that's college age. If you're in college and you're in an American history class, Manifest Destiny, my boy John O'Sullivan coined the term. Basically the idea that it was God's will and intention for America to expand westward across the continent. And then that, led to the Trail of Tears and a lot of dividing and conquering of, native tribes and stuff. Honestly, some of the darker part of our American history, that's one thing that I notice as you get older. American history just gets dark. Like, it's really dark racist shit. But yeah, so I don't mean to have named this in a bad way. It's just the biggest ride in the park, and it just kind of fits with the vibe that this park is expanding in big ways. And so what is more appropriate than a Strata coaster? It sits at 408 feet tall, and let's hop on it real quick. One thing you'll notice is it doesn't do the traditional spiral downward. It does more of the Red Force. Like I said, it's Red Force at Port Aventura, well, technically Ferrari Land in Spain. I think it's in Madrid, not entirely sure, but in Spain, in the sense that it doesn't do the straight spiral down. I know Red Force is a giga coaster, by the way, boys, but I didn't want to do the traditional spiral down just because I'd have to make it a lot taller. And this, you know, in the sense of realism and things I take into account, is this is a smaller Cedar Fair park. They wouldn't have, you know, one-upped Dragster or anything by building a taller Strata coaster in one of their smaller properties. So it's 408 feet tall. Didn't really have room for the full spiral down. And from what I've heard, is that Red Force's drop off the top hat feels more like an actual first drop. I think Taylor over at Coaster Studios said that. And that just kind of makes more sense because I've ridden Dragster. Fuck, it's an incredible ride, don't get me wrong. But that just drop down, it feels like you're not really dropping down. I don't know, it's hard to explain because you're hitting that heartline, you know, twist and shit. And anyway, so I went with just the straight, you know, kind of drop down off of the top hat, not the whole heartline roll. And this little airtime hill, King Daka's big-ass airtime hill is kind of pointless. So I didn't want to rip that off here, and I thought it would just look too big and invasive. I kind of wanted it to be a little bit more subtle, kind of like Dragster. But in theory, that would create a decent amount of airtime, and then you hit the brake run at a, you know, nice little incline. Or decline. I love declining brake runs. I'm a whore for those kind of things. I don't know why, I just am. So, got to work in some backstage stuff back here, build the transfer track, doll up the queue, put in some, you know, gardens or greenery and stuff, and awnings and everything. The entrance is actually right here, and I'm going to put a cool sign right in here, maybe with like an American map that hasn't been explored yet. You know, when did John Sullivan coin that? I want to say the 1800s. Don't quote me on that exactly. Well, it definitely wasn't the 1900s, but with the idea that America needs to expand. Again, no racist vibes here. I got no beef with the Native American people except for Elizabeth Warren. But other than that, no ill will. But let's get to this Midway. So I went ahead and added the Skyride just because that's a total Cedar Point vibe. If you've been to Cedar Point, you know what I'm talking about. And yeah, I wanted these big open areas with like a lot of greenery and foliage. I want it to be a really pretty Cedar Fair park. You know, they've been really focusing on dolling up their parks and making them look nice. Particularly King's Dominion. I think it's a viable competitor with Busch Gardens in the sense of, you know, landscaping and stuff nowadays, opposed to the early Cedar Fair days or the late Paramount days. But yeah, so, and then I also I built this kind of awning for some games. I have to fill that in, make it look nice, add little details like the actual like bins and buckets for games and stuff like that. But I'll get to that at another, you know, point in time. That's tedious detailing work I don't want to do. So, and by the way, if you're watching this and you want to collab and help out with crap like that, please let me know. I'm totally down with sharing this project and making it a group project because I got a passion project in the works right now that really will be occupying a lot of my time. But this isn't going anywhere though. I'm really enjoying this build. So, yeah, went ahead and filled in, you know, some trees and foliage, some curbs, made it look nice, and a shitload of fences. This whole thing is fenced in, and let me tell you, that took a minute. So if you don't appreciate my fencing, I don't appreciate you. And I'm particularly talking to one person, two people. Well, one person, because she gives me the most shit for it. By the way, question of the day, boys. Do you pronounce Knoebels or Knoebels? I need to settle a bet with a fellow Polak from Pennsylvania, and she's adamant that you say it with the K, but my argument is it goes N, vowel, O, and you don't really pronounce the K like you do with the word no. Like, I know it's pronounced Knoebels. I'm going off on a tangent right now just for the sake of calling out one chick. I don't know. It's a cry for help, boys. Please help. It's Tuesday and I'm drinking beer. Anyway, so went ahead and built this little kind of shop thing where it's just a, you know, food stand like you see on a typical Midway at a Cedar Fair park, and some, you know, more benches and tents and stuff like that, seating area. These two games are actually from the Steam Workshop, Rubble Trillions, and if you also haven't checked out his YouTube channel, I'll link it down below. Incredible builder, and I placed these down just because I kind of wanted to use them as reference for what I want the Midway to look like and the games to look like. So I'm not just going to be plopping other people's shit down in this park for the sake of doing that. I think that's kind of lazy. I did take the skee ball and strip it down and kind of turn it into two things right here, but I'm going to build my own games in there just because I want to be somewhat original, but I also needed some reference points. I had a real builder's block at that point. And again, the other gaming pavilion kind of thing, I went ahead and copied that down from this part of the Midway over here. Going to fill that in with games as well. And yeah, I want the Victorian lamps along this Midway because I want to give it a real kind of old school Americana vibe. Again, my posture, Jesus Christ. But yeah, let's flip it around to the other side real quick. Not much going on over here. just because I wanted to fill in a lot of around Manifest Destiny and everything. But we have the Sundial, which is the giant frisbee ride built by Mondola, however you pronounce it. I know that they built Delirium at King's Dominion along with, Huss built Max Air at Cedar Point, I think. So I think this is more aligned with the Huss giant frisbee. But I think we'll just name that Delirium or something, something basic, Cedar Fair like. The Dodgems right here, I'm not sure if I'm going to build a ride cover for this. Just because I like the very classic vibe it gives. I can fill in with, concrete and curb pieces and fencing. Kind of make that gel and flow in with the Midway and kind of give a more kind of classic vibe. I really like how this looks. It's one of the few ride skins that come default that I really do enjoy. So we'll see what goes on there. I'm not too concerned about it at the moment. I'll get to that. Gonna want to fill in. I'm gonna definitely build like a sit-in restaurant somewhere over here, and some more patios and seating and shaded areas and everything. But yeah, I'm gonna definitely try and finish this Midway before I expand any other part of the park. I know I said that about the Outer Banks, but I was just not feeling a beach vibe. I didn't want to build beach houses, so I do apologize. But that'll get done eventually too. I'm also not entirely sure how I feel about these American flags. I think there might be a bit much, but it is, Manifest Destiny. It's God's will that America expands. Man, we went through some weird shit. But let me know what you think about those flags. I'm not entirely sure. Then you exit down into the ride, on-ride photo thing. I need to build an on-ride photo camera somewhere down the launch. And also the hydraulic building for the hydraulic drum. I do need to build that somewhere in here. A little detail I could have very well overlooked, but I'm not going to because it takes up space. And yeah. So it's really all that's going on here, boys. It looks good. I'm very proud with how this turned out too. And I do need to build the stations for the Skyride, because this is I think we're just gonna go with more of kind of the brick theme like you see over here with Manifest Destiny Station. It's a real Top Thrill Dragster type station, but it's classier because it has brick and everything. So over here, I'm not sure what this section of the park is gonna be just yet, and over here, I'm not entirely sure just yet. I'm kind of winging it at this point, but it's turned out good so far. So we'll see what's up. But yeah, that's really all that's been going on here in Valley America. Quite a big expansion, but not a whole lot to show for. I just wanted to put a video out to show you guys I'm not dead. And I will be back in the very near future with more Valley America stuff and finishing up the Hershey 2020 project. I've just been busy with other stuff. I was on the road this past weekend. And to Cam and Pete, I do apologize, boys. We learned a couple things about my tolerance since I have left the black hole that is the university I went to the last 2 years. We'll see how this upcoming year goes, but I do apologize for hogging your bathroom. We learned a thing or two about my tolerance. So that's what's been up. Just been busy working with other stuff and working in general. But I will be back putting out more content. And, Carowinds is coming up. We're going to have some fun footage from that. So it'll be a good time. I'm really looking forward to it. All right, so thanks for sticking around, you guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I love each and every one of you that made it this far. And yeah, that's really all I got to say. Have a good night. I'll be back shortly. Thanks for checking out Valley America yet again. Drop that like. Don't forget to comment. I'm going to finish this beer, edit this video, and pass the fuck out. So, good night, you guys.